not as great. Employers play a big role in supporting our national defense. ESGR has a motto, we all serve, and we do. ESGR's mission is to develop and promote supportive work environments for Reserve and Guard employees. ESGR is made up of about 4,000 employees nationally, volunteers nationally, and Minnesota's committee has 100 volunteers, many of them Legionnaires. We're one of 54 state and territory committees across the nation, so we're really spread out, and we have quite a bit of support that we offer service members. How do we accomplish this mission? Well, we accomplish it by education, by recognition, and by mediation. First, in our outreach program, we educate employers on USERRA, Uniform Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act. We also educate service members in their units yearly, as well as before and after deployments. We stress their rights and responsibilities. Both the employer and the service member have rights, but also have to meet their obligations under USERRA. In addition, ESGR offers boss lists to employers to show that their employee is learning skills. Is that for me?
Stay there. I'm sorry.
Just leave it there.
Just leave it there? You mean I'm not loud enough? Wow, that's a first. Well, the boss lists really show the skills that the service members have, and it allows employers to realize what they are. Secondly, we recognize employers with a robust and progressive award program. We have a statement of support that employers can sign and publicly display so that not only employees but people coming into their business can see that they support their service member employees. Service members or their spouses can nominate an owner, a supervisor, a manager, or any person in their company for a Patriot Award, which is usually personally presented by an ESGR member. That nomination, if written to include their company's support over and above the law, could result in an above and beyond award for that company. Minnesota's ESGR also selects 3 companies yearly for a Pro Patriot Award: a small, a large, and a governmental agency. Usually they're the best for that particular year. Or we're preparing to help them get a Freedom Award. So we have to build up their nomination picture. Companies or individuals can also receive 7 SEALs awards for exceptional support of the ESGR mission. The Extraordinary Employer Support Award can be achieved if a company continues their support of their Guard and Reserve employees once they have been recognized with either a Freedom Award or the Pro Patriot Award. The Secretary of Defense Freedom Award is an extremely competitive award administered by National ESGR. It's an award that should not be the first award that service members nominate their employer for, because it's an accumulative award that has so much competition. You have 3,000 nominations usually yearly, and only 15 companies receive the award. So it's terribly competitive. In fact, it usually takes 2 or 3 years for a company to acquire that award. We're lucky in Minnesota, though, that many companies have given outstanding support to their service member employees and families. A few of our Freedom Award selectees are 3M, General Mills, Cargill, U.S. Bank, Ecolab, Medtronics, the state of Minnesota, Marcus Construction, Alliance Life Insurance, Ultra Machine Company, and the Minnesota Department of Transportation. So you can see this state really supports their military employees. Thirdly, we mediate. ESGR mediates. We have a group of specially trained volunteers, we call them ombudsmen, who mediate and supply legal information should a misunderstanding or a USERRA issue is reported by a service member. When service members return from deployment, they're not only required by USERRA to get their jobs back, but have many other rights. Employers often ask for our ombudsman to brief their supervisors and managers. That really helps when they know what the USERRA law is all about. It really helps the service members in their companies. We're always looking for trained new volunteers to help us complete our mission on education, recognition, and mediation. If you're interested, please call. We do have a lot of Legionnaires who are our members. In fact, I'd like to give a shout out to an ex-Legionnaire who passed recently, Jeff Gay. He was a chair for one of our 7 regions in Minnesota. ESGR presented his family with a Twice the Citizens Award, which he deserved and earned over and over. He did a lot of TV shows and radio shows for us. And I cannot forget Brigadier General Kurt Nuremberg, who not only helped in setting up our Minnesota ESGR committee in 1972, but was awarded the Spirit of Volunteerism Award. In fact, at the Minnesota State Fair this year, he was given the Superior Citizen Service Award by Major General Sean Menke for his 50 years of service to our country. Good applause, good recognition, well deserved. 50 years happens to be, as I pointed out, he started our committee here in 72. Well, ESGR started in 72. That's where the USERRA law was set up. We are now celebrating our 50th anniversary year, and later on, the selectees for the awards tonight will receive a coin designating our 50th anniversary. Thank you, everyone.
For those of you standing in the back, we do have some empty seats in front. You're more than welcome. Come on up and grab a chair. So now to the fun part. Today we are recognizing 8 of the best of Minnesota. In no particular order, we're going to start out with the gentleman representing the Minnesota Army National Guard, First Sergeant Lyle Haug, A Company, 2nd Battalion, 136th out of Bemidji. He has 20 years of service. He lives in LaPorte, Minnesota. He's a Legion member. He's active in his home community as a volunteer firefighter in his local school as serving and also serving in his local color guard. He's nominated by the Moorhead American Legion. And these nominees, or these awardees, are each going to tell you their story about their experiences in their various branches of the military. So I give you First Sergeant Hope.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I started my career in active duty. I spent 6 years bouncing from Bragg to Fort Campbell. Then I joined the National Guard to start a home life and civilian life as well. I deployed 3 times, one to Iraq in 2005, one to Afghanistan in 2011, and then recently in Kuwait in 2020-21. A lot of experiences, been to Lithuania, a few other countries. The National Guard has brought me all over the world. In the civilian life, I own my own business. My wife and I run a gas station, liquor store, and a service station. I'm a volunteer firefighter, been on there for 12 years. And I also coach the local football team, try to mentor the young kids into young, good men that this country needs so well. That's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Next, we have another Army National Guard, Staff Sergeant Sean Biddle, Bravo Company 2, 136 Infantry out of Crookston, 14 years in the military, lives in Thief River Falls. Sergeant Biddle.
Good morning. I started my military career late in life. I was 38. Went to Fort Benning, and I've been overseas numerous times to Norway, Lithuania, Croatia, and Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, and Syria. I own my own business, plumbing and heating company. My wife's been my secretary. My boys work for me. So it's a family thing. But I work a lot with the American Legion in Thief River. I help out with hamburgers on Saturdays and stuff like that. And we try to do some work around the community. My boy was in the Guard as well. So yeah, it's pretty much it, I guess. I thank my family for always supporting me. Otherwise, without them, I couldn't do it. And I appreciate the work. Thank you.
Do we have any Marines here in the crowd today? Oh, all right. Staff Sergeant D6, U.S. Marine Reserves, Gary Bush, Moorhead. He's part of the 4th. He's part of the 4th Law Enforcement Battalion out of Wahpeton, North Dakota. He's been with them for 9 years, nominated by the Moorhead Post. Our awards not only go to residents of Minnesota, but residents of other states or those who reside in Minnesota and serve out of state in a different Guard or Reserve group. So if you're wondering, Wahpeton, that's the reason for it. Sergeant Bush.
So I started in 2008, active duty on Station Camp Lejeune. Missed all that terrible water stuff, so that's good. Got out of there in 2012. When I was there, I went to Afghanistan, I think 2009 to 2010. Turned some wrenches there as a motor T mechanic. Then when I went to the reserves in 2013, I was still motor T, just working on trucks. I did a lot of active duty time, did a lot of funeral honors. I worked with the Legion, both Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota actually, VFW, American Legion, doing all that stuff. Then I joined active reserve in 2019, January. Changed my MOS from motor T to supply, and I've been doing a whole lot of supply stuff. Safety, hazmat, SAPR, the sexual assault prevention response. It's really about it. Couldn't do it without my fiance. She's been with her about 5 years and got 2 kids with her. So, and then my mom, my aunt and uncle are here, my lieutenant's here, the CO. It's a really good support system. Work probably 10-hour days. Over drill weekends, it probably turns into 14 days straight. Weekends for funerals and everything, but it's a lot of work. But it's rewarding. It's an honor to do everything for everyone. So.
Get on the tape. How's that for not being on the tape? Thank you. He's got something for you.
Congratulations. This is a medal from ESGR auspicious. And there's some other things in here.
Next, we have the Air Force Reserves from the 934th Airlift Wing. Been with them for 10 years. Tech Sergeant Wamshire. He lives in Shakopee. He was nominated by Wold Chamberlain Post 99, and he is also active in his community.
Morning. First off, thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure and honor to get to hang out with you guys, hear a bunch of stories, and hope we get to hear some more. I'm from Shakopee, was born in Lakeville, joined the reserve. I'm lucky to join an awesome unit. Very supportive. We got a lot done. Collectively, we got a lot of awards and stuff. It's awesome to be there. Personally, I volunteer with the Big Brother program. I'm lucky to get to mentor a young man and help bring him up, help there. Yeah, I got a wonderful family, a wife, 2 kids. Just really lucky life, and this just adds to it, so thank you again.
Thank you for your service.
Congratulations. This is the ESGR medal. One of the congratulations. There are some other things in here. Don't go all the way.
Next, we have the Air Force National Guard. He's part of the 133rd Airlift Wing. He's been with them 9 years. Tech Sergeant Schutte. Lives in Waconia. He's a Legion member, nominated by Wold Chamberlain Post 99. Come forward, please.
Good morning. I've been with the 133rd since 2013. I'm currently in the contingency response flight. I've deployed multiple times. This most recent was to Kuwait, where I forward deployed to Syria, Israel, and Afghanistan. I was part of the retrograde for Afghanistan, stationed in Kandahar, Bagram, and Mazar-i Sharif, and then most notably the Kabul evacuation. My wife and I are foster parents in Carver County. And we are currently adopting our foster daughter and in the final stages of that. So, yeah, thank you for the honor today.
We have, our next is the U.S. Navy reservist, and he'll have to explain to us about his Indo-Pacific Command. He's the Chief Intelligence Specialist, recently promoted to Brandon Thompson, Burnsville, Minnesota, 6 years active, 5 years reserves, nominated by Post 548 Minneapolis, and active in his community.
Morning, everybody. Morning. So, as you mentioned, I joined active duty in 2008. Spent some great years on the USS Peleliu out of San Diego. Did 1 deployment to the Middle East. After that, I spent a couple years in Naples, Italy at 6th Fleet. It was a wonderful experience. Joined the reserves in 2016. My deployment to Djibouti, Africa was eye-opening. I worked with
Air Force and Army significantly. I was the only Navy person in the shop, so that was wonderful. I'll tell you, the one thing I remember, I worked for an Air Force major, and he would always say, air power, in his little southern accent. It was great. Yeah, the unit I belong to now is Indo-PACOM, so we support the active duty side out of Hawaii. So every couple weeks, every year, we get to go out, and it's tough, but we get to go to Hawaii for a couple weeks every year. So plan it right, you can go and, when it's cold here. Yeah, recently just went through a promotion ceremony. Last Saturday, I was promoted to Chief Petty Officer. I would be... Thank you so much. And I do just have to thank Erica Witherington, she's sitting over here taking video. She's been a great mentor, been a great friend, and now, I can call her a sister. And I look forward to what she teaches me and what I can bring in the future. So thank you very much to everybody. Congratulations to everybody else who has won today. Thank you.
Next, we have our U.S. Coast Guard reservist from Duluth, Petty Officer Second Class Ryan Bradley, nominated by U of M Post 548. I know he's active in his community because he is a police officer.
Good morning. Reservist, I'm a maritime enforcement specialist. Last year, volunteered for deployment with one of our deployable specialized force groups out of Washington. So I did a year in Guantanamo Bay. We were doing detainee operations there. I was on a small boat as a crew member, and we're responsible for the security zone outside of the naval station, as well as the detention center there. When I came back, also volunteered for help out at my home unit stationed Duluth, and so I did a few months active duty doing search and rescue here in Minnesota on Lake Superior. It's actually been a pretty tough year, being gone for a year, and coming back, things are irreversibly different. And I don't know, sometimes you forget why you serve, so stuff like this is awesome. Seeing you guys just really helps me remember why. So, thank you.
Our last awardee cannot be with us today. He is currently stationed out in Colorado. Staff Sergeant Titterton was born August 8, '66 in Stafford, England. He graduated from Hudson High School, Wisconsin, and is with as a combat engineer, 12th Battalion, Higher Headquarters, 372nd Engineering Brigade. This is written by his commanding officer, as most of these nominees have been, and many of them are there here in support of today. He served as duration cadre for Operation Cold Steel, an Army Reserve effort to soldiers qualifying on mounted gunnery. As a range instructor, he was training, he was done as a rating officer, he was recognized that way. On his personal time, he volunteered the Industrial Cadre for ground qualifications range to gain more personal experience with crew, served weapon systems, and shared his knowledge with training audience. Staff Sergeant Titterton has completed in 3 annual Best Warrior, Best Squad competitions. During his last series of competition, he won battalion, brigade, and 416th TEC competitions, eventually competing at the Army Reserve level among the best of all the Army Reservists. He was deployed in support of Operation Spartan Shield, Operation Inherent Resolve, and served as LNO for the Task Force Timberwolf in Iraq. During his time, he was the sole hands-on point of contact for managing all sustainability and engineering projects in the region. His long-term goals are to commission as an aviation officer. Well, Colorado is a great place for it. His schools include OSUT Basic Leader Course and Air Assault. He cannot be with us today. His awards include Army Accommodation Medal and several others. His award will be presented to him at his next formation back here in Minnesota. So these are our awardees. Let's recognize them one more with a great round of applause. And you can be dismissed at this time, and if you care to, you can go back to our room where you were for reception and continue to visit there. But thank you again, and thank you for all the support you brought with you, especially the little ones. It's good to see kids here. That's our future. Thanks again for coming. Okay, I want to present that banner to Peggy now. Is that okay?
Yeah.
We'll let these people get out of here.
We're going to give our award recipients a few minutes to exit the room, and then we'll
Image in
move
your
forward.
eyes, reflecting the pain that has taken you.
Will the National
In your voice, so ridden with shame from what's ailing you. I won't give up, so don't give in. You've fallen down, but you can rise again. So don't give up when the demon that's inside you is ready to